go to Bobby in Belmore. Bobby.
Yeah, hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Who cares about Teixeira? Hi, guys. Who cares about Teixeira? He didn't do nothing in that 2009 postseason anyway. And speaking of not doing too much, since 2000, you guys are wondering why people are inquiring about Judge and his, history run, home run hitting, this year and 2 years ago. It's because, since 2018, when he was on fire, the first two games of that first round in Boston, he went like 7 for 11. He played that New York song, which actually motivated the Red Sox, which Cora admitted it did. And then he proceeded to go 1 for 8 in that last two games of the stadium. The last game was like a 5-4 win. And, he's hit 200 since then in the postseason. And if he wants to be captains like Garrett, Munson, and Jeter, he better hit better than 063 like he did in the Astros in that last playoff series.
I don't understand what you're saying, Bob. I'm not quite sure what you're saying. So you can't enjoy the fact that he's having an historic season because you're worried about what he does in the postseason.
You're saying they're not getting. No, you're saying you're not getting a big response because that's the reason.
But why?
I
know what I'm saying. I want to know why what you're saying. So he struggles in the postseason. So that means you can't enjoy 62 home runs in the regular season.
Well, a lot of fans think like me. A lot of fans.
Well, you know what? Then you're miserable. You're a miserable person.
No, I'm miserable.
Yes, you are. You sound miserable. Listen. I'm sure the Yankees want him to hit. I'm sure he wants to hit. But one thing is one thing. Another thing's another thing. You can't enjoy the fact that he's having an historic season.
I am, but you asked why are people not responding as much as they should.
I did not ask that. I said I wonder if people are enjoying what they're seeing.
Well, I heard Don and Peter saying they weren't responding in 2022 when he was in that home run chase. I mean,
But they weren't. But Don and Peter, I can't speak for them, did not say they're not responding because he struggled in the postseason. They want to complain about things. Why is this guy not hitting? They never even concentrate on the fact that Judge was having an historic season.
I think this year with Soto, if he doesn't produce in the playoffs this year, the pressure is off him. The pressure's not going to be on him as much as like in past years. He has a great hitter with him, and I think he has to produce this year.
And what happens if he doesn't, Bobby? What happens if he doesn't? They're going to release him? What happens if he doesn't? You said he has to. But you're saying he has to. So when you say he has to, there has to be a ramification. If he doesn't, what happens, Bob?
Well, people compare him to Jeter and Munson and Garrett. He's not those guys yet. Those guys produce in the postseason. That's just a fact. I'm not saying anything subjective.
One of the greatest players in baseball history is A-Rod. And before 2009, couldn't get out of his own way in the postseason.
Horrible.
And a fan,
he was horrible,
And Bobby's at least being consistent. Because what happened, Michael, during those times? He's winning MVPs, and every Yankee fan's like, so what? I want to see a championship. I want to see him produce in the postseason. And eventually he finally did in 2009. Man, Bobby's not wrong. I think there are a lot of fans who are like, okay, this is great, but show me something in the postseason. And he's a 211 hitter in the postseason. I'm not saying that they should think like Bobby, but I do think that there are probably a lot of fans who are like, oh, this regular season stuff is great, but I want to see it in the postseason. Now, what happens if he never produces in the postseason, doesn't win a championship? Then I think the way it'll go is that he will never be Derek Jeter. He won't be beloved in that way because of the postseason numbers. They won't trade him. They won't get rid of him. No, but don't you think that might affect his legacy, Michael? If he goes his whole career and doesn't hit in the postseason and doesn't win a championship?
It will affect his legacy. I believe it. Don Mattingly never won a World Series at the Yankees. He's one of the most beloved players of all time.
But I even said that yesterday. If that had happened today, the Yankees have not won a World Series going on 15 years. If Don Mattingly played during these 15 years, I'm not sure he would have been beloved. I think the 4 championships in 5 years, there's a whole different generation of Yankee fans.
But Don,
who probably don't appreciate
Mattingly was not winning championships in the 18-year stretch that the Yankees didn't win a World Series.
Right.
So, I mean, they still loved him.
No, but I don't think if that were to happen today, they would love him.
Why? What's the difference? 18 years they didn't go to win a World Series.
Because I think things are different. After those 4 championships in 5 years, I think the mindset from Yankee fans are a lot different than they were then. Right? The Yankees went to 3 straight World Series in 76, 77, and 78, and won those 2 World Series in 77 and 78. All right? Went to the World Series, in 81. But they didn't. Those 4 championships in 5 years, the consistency of making the playoffs basically every year, not having a losing record since in 30 years, I think has changed the standard. So if Don Mattingly spent his career now not winning a title, I'm not sure he would have been as beloved.
But all I'm fighting back with Bobby is this, okay? When he makes a statement like, well, he better hit this postseason, and then what? They're going to eat the last 7 years of his contract?
No, but I think he's saying that he better, meaning that he will not be beloved, no matter how many MVP.
Here's the deal, Don. After the first 3 games against the Red Sox in 2004, where Alex had an unbelievable 3 games, he was terrible in games 4, 5, 6, 7. And he was terrible in 05 and 06 and 07, and they didn't make the playoffs in 08. If they had given up on him, he never would have been the greatest player the team had for the entire postseason.
However,
in 09, that's just silliness.
No, but wait a minute.
You can rewrite your history in 1 year.
But I don't think he's saying that the Yankees should get rid of him. What he's saying is that he will not be beloved. Alex, no,
but
you got to be honest.
I'm saying you can't. He's got so much career left. How do you know he won't be beloved?
But you have to be on how many phone calls? This is way before you, Peter. When Alex Rodriguez was winning MVPs and hitting 50 home runs, that the Yankee fans were still beating him up and not appreciating a second of it before 2009 because he hadn't won.
But you're right. But then he rewrote his history.
Right.
So you don't give up on what he said.
No.
He better do it this year. If not, what? What's going to happen, Bobby?
But what's going to happen is that they're not going to appreciate the 60 home runs, and they might start getting on him if he were to struggle, and he wouldn't be beloved. Like, listen, Jeter's beloved. Listen, honestly, Michael, he's got a lot of baseball left to be played. If I have to bet, I would say that Aaron Judge is going to have a way better career than Derek Jeter. Way better.
No way.
Like, what are you talking about?
The guy has the 4th most hits in baseball history.
And this guy might hit the 4th most home runs in history. Who the hell knows? He's got 300 home runs already at 30. The guy. So I think that he might have way more RBIs, way more home runs, hit for a similar batting average to Derek Jeter. I mean, he might turn out to be the better ball player. But Derek Jeter's always going to be beloved because he won 4 championships.
But 5.
4 championships.
Time dictates, Don, that can't happen. Aaron is 32. He doesn't even have 1,000 hits yet. He can't come close to Jeter's numbers.
But Jeter is Jeter because of the 5 championships, Michael. He had peers. It's almost like Judge doesn't have a peer right now. Listen, Derek Jeter got a lot of hits. God love him, and I think he was an underrated fielder. He was never this. Derek Jeter was never, at one time, like the best player in baseball. He was so consistent and won a ton of titles. But what Judge is doing here, Michael, is unbelievable. We were comparing him to a video game. He didn't do that with Derek Jeter.
And I've been saying how unbelievable he's been. But I mean, you're taking Derek Jeter, who some people might say is one of the best players who ever lived, and saying he's going to have a better career than Derek Jeter. I mean, if he hit 600 home runs, I guess we could talk about it.
I mean, Derek Jeter. I'm looking at his stats. Derek Jeter in '99 was pretty insane, Don.
Yeah, but pretty insane. We're talking about a guy that has been absolutely insane.
219 hits, batted .349. But the things that Judge does, to Don's point, the things that Judge excels at excite baseball fans so much that if all things were equal, if he played a shorter career than Jeter, so his numbers weren't there because the career was shorter, but to Don's point, he had the championships, I think he'd probably surpass Jeter.
In terms of what, though? Popularity?
He's just being a better ball player.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 things. Right. Could he be a better ball player, more valuable, and the way that he's revered by fans?
But I really think there was an aura about him. The 4 championships in 5 years, 5 total championships, the consistency, the longevity, never made a mistake. Like, it was just a different time, a different era. It's really unfair to compare the two. They were 2 completely different ball players, different skill sets. But Jeter's beloved because of the championships. Jeter spent his whole career in Pittsburgh and never won a title. You wouldn't be able to appreciate him.
But you would have to say that statistically and physically, Alex is a better baseball player than Derek.
Yes.
Derek is much more beloved than him. Now, you could say, but Alex is not homegrown, all the other issues. I get it.
Exactly.
But it's not close. You'll hear tomorrow with the ovation. Not close.
Right. But he, as great as he was in any given period of time, he had peers. Like I said, like Alex Rodriguez. There's some people that might take Alex Rodriguez over him. I wouldn't take Nomar Garcia-Parra over Derek Jeter, but he was in the vicinity. Like now, over the last 3-4 years, there's nobody even in the stratosphere of Aaron Judge.
Listen, I don't want to be.
The only reason Ohtani's considered better is because he also can pitch.
I don't want to be in the position of even downing Judge at all. Again, I've sang his praises the entire week, the entire year. We're seeing stuff that we might not ever see again. But when you're saying better than Derek Jeter, you're saying a mouthful.
Well, could
Derek Jeter played for 20 years.
I didn't say now. I said he could be. If he continues to put up these numbers for the next 5-6 years, Michael, and you look at that period of time, he's at a disadvantage. His career started later.
If for the next 6 years he hits 50 home runs a year, then you know what? We'll have a conversation.
But you don't think that that's on the table?
Well, I mean, the only thing that plays against Aaron Judge is the calendar. He's 32 years old. He's going to be doing this at 38. I mean, I wish it for him. Derek Jeter took a big drop in his last years.
Sure.
You talked about it the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get 4,000 hits. No, he's not. His father time comes and gets you.
But I think, again, I also don't want to be in the position of devaluing Derek Jeter. But I think what really creates the aura for Yankee fans is the 5 championships. That's what creates it.
Oh, we know it by doing the show. That's all that fans care about. If he played in New York, the favorite player in New York would be Robert Horry. That's all they care about. It wouldn't be Carmelo Anthony. It would be Robert Horry. Oh, look, he keeps winning rings. Sometimes it's beyond rings. Baseball's a hard game.
Very hard.
Where one guy can get you a ring. Now, like the miserable caller said, he's got to hit in the postseason. He knows it. We'll see.